international travel with Qantas and Jetstar to recommence in October. Hi, I'm Narelle Maluish and welcome back to my Holiday World channel, where I endeavour to keep Australians informed and ready so you can get back out there and see the world again. Do you remember the hot water that Alan Joyce got into in January when he announced that Qantas would be ready to start travelling again in July? The government was none too pleased with that announcement, suspecting that Qantas were dictating the opening of border controls and the ending of the travel ban. So what about today's news? But before that, remember to smash that like button and subscribe. That tells Mr. YouTube that you find my content interesting and entertaining. And entertaining updates are the purpose of my channel. This is not travel advice because everyone's circumstances are different. So make sure you read the fine print and know for yourself. A lot can happen in a month. Last month, Qantas were all set to fly internationally in July and released great airfares to get you to part with your money. That was my take on it at the time. I was very cynical and considered it a cash grab to keep the airline afloat because there was absolutely no indication that the borders would be open by then. That said, while ever borders are closed, every day Australian businesses are going broke. And the longer this goes on, the less likely they are to recover, especially in the travel industry.
Meantime, reported a loss of more than $1 billion triggered by the drying up of international travel and a 70% fall in domestic travel.
So as cynical as I was, I could see the benefit of putting out positive travel information, even if it was premature. It's the kind of information that travellers are hanging on for at the moment. An interesting fun fact is that both Gary and I worked for Qantas. I was with them in the 1980s for 5 years in Sydney and Newcastle, and Gary was with them for 40 years in Melbourne and finished his career in Cairns. We have some great stories to share with you, which we might do another time. From its inception in 1920, Qantas has always been a leader in business and aviation, and it's obvious that they intend to get to the other side of this. What that looks like is bringing back staff that have been stood down and getting planes and passengers in the air.
Well, the airlines coped with it exceptionally well. $7 billion in revenue lost, and we managed to move that down to $1 billion profit loss. And we're in a great position now where we're back into positive cash flow. So Qantas is in a very strong position compared to any airline around the globe. But it has meant we have to have done dramatic things to survive and to recover in the future. So hopefully, and we are having good dialogue, we'll get some clarity and some certainty around the borders, which I think is what people need.
That despite a mind-blowing loss to the company, Qantas and Jetstar will be back in the air for travel internationally starting on the 31st of October.
Because there's a lot of pent-up demand out there for people to travel again.
That will be in line with the expected conclusion of the vaccine rollout.
Having seen that we're likely to have the full population vaccinated by the end of October.
It also gives them time to plan and put operations and staff in place. Aircraft need to be brought back from Central Australia and the Mojave Desert in the USA. Staff need to be retrained, and the entire operation needs to be tested and certified. That takes time.
Now we have to make some planning assumptions because we need to give our people certainty. We can't operate in a vacuum. So that's the date we picked, and we think there's good logic to it, and it's probably a bit conservative in reality if everything goes well.
We still have a long way to go, but the plan is realistic and achievable, more so than July, and better than taking the on and off approach we've become used to. Don't mention those borders. Hope is essential in life, but it needs to be believable, and I'm willing to get behind this plan. How about you?
Airfares post these borders being reopened, particularly international airfares, if there's fewer airlines around the world travelling, does that mean that airfares go through the roof to 1960s, 70s levels?
I think it's the opposite. I'd rather fly the aircraft, get people back to work, and if there's any demand and any hope of doing that, even with really low airfares, we'll put the aircraft back back in. And I think the airfares will be low for some time to encourage that travel.
It is still likely that you will need to be vaccinated to travel overseas with Qantas. They announced this in November 2020, that international travellers would need to prove that they have been vaccinated against the virus in order to board Qantas flights. And at this stage, I can't see that changing anytime soon. I doubt it will apply to domestic travel, but who knows? All of those decisions will depend on the worldwide situation with the virus, whether it's been eradicated or if there are still hotspots. I have explained more about this in a previous video. Again, I hope you find this helpful, and I would really appreciate a like. If you know me, you will know that I'm super cautious and have been throughout this pandemic. I think it's because I have experienced other disasters that rocked the travel industry, which were only dress rehearsals for this. Things did return to normal, and even a better normal, but only in time. As cautious as I am, this is great news. And let's hope that the rest of the world gets with the program and doesn't stuff it up. Here's to Qantas starting their flights overseas by the 31st of October. Catch you soon. Bye for now.